Welcome back to another episode of Foster Talks, and today I have an author who's flown down all the way from the US, Prabhu basically hailing from Chennai.
Hailing from Delhi, actually. I'm a Delhi boy. I'm born in Delhi, grown up in Delhi. Barely, I used to go to Chennai in summer vacations, but right now my parents are in Chennai. So I'm really a Delhi boy. I identify myself as a Delhi boy.
A Delhi boy coming from Chennai today, all the way to Delhi to be part of Foster Talks. Welcome to you, Prabhu. Really happy to be here with you today. And I would really want to talk to you a lot about your book, Shark and the Dolphins.
Oh, thank you. Yes. I can't wait. Super excited. And thank you so much for getting this organized as a short notice. So appreciate that.
More than
can't
happy
wait.
To. So my first question to do is the name Shark and the Dolphins. For a layman, I'm just talking from a very layman perspective. I'm not part of a corporate world. I do not understand how startups work. So when I hear words like sharks and dolphins, for me, it's an animal world, right? So can you tell us exactly what sharks are and who dolphins are?
No, absolutely. So first of all, naming this book, titling this book took me longer than actually writing it.
Okay.
So first I called it Electric, then I called it the Himalayan Engineers, then I called it 15 Moving Parts.
Okay.
Then the more I read the story, the more it occurred to me what the essence really is. And then, so essentially the shark, like we all know, is the fiercest predator in the ocean. But even a shark does not mess around with a spirited bunch of dolphins when they're together.
Yeah.
Because dolphins, when they get together, they can even sink a shark.
True.
So the sharks stay away.
Okay.
So in this, the dolphins are the founders who are creating this company called Bharat Kinetics and trying to build the world's fastest car.
Yes.
And the shark is, of course, the investor. And I also thought that shark is right now a very topical subject. Everyone understands because of Shark Tank and the awareness that's created.
Yes.
So the idea was to use that and be able to, kind of get it to land with people. The shark and the dolphins, essentially shark versus the dolphins. The shark is the investor and dolphins are the founders who are trying to protect everything they've created against the very man who made it possible financially for them.
Okay.
So how the equations and dynamics change from the time the investment is agreed upon to the time when the company takes real shape and the idea is coming to life. How the sharks suddenly change, how the investors, their behavior, their attitude, their ambitions, their greed, all of that takes over.
Yeah.
And that initial premise and on which they invested, that I want to invest because I see potential, that kind of sits by the wayside. Now it's all about who's going to control this, who's going to walk away with the fame.
Yes.
And that it really becomes in a lot of cases, I'm not saying all investors are like that. Some of the investors are brilliant. They really want to take the companies they invest in forward. But a number of investors are people who somehow want to dislodge founders, usurp the company and kind of take over and then become the face.
True.
So that's the kind of investor that we are dealing with in this story.
Okay.
Very strong, no nonsense, extremely sinister.
Okay.
Shantanu Vashisht.
Okay.
He's as important a character as the main protagonists.
Okay.
So that was a genesis, that was a thought process of coming up with the shark and the dolphins.
Understood.
I hope it resonates, it doesn't, and I hope people don't pick it up for their 5-year-old kids.
Yeah, exactly.
Titles can be a little, it's very tricky, right?
It is.
You can sometimes get it wrong and then it just gets confused as this nursery story or a bedtime story.
Exactly.
But
that's why I asked that question, because I thought before we start on with anything, let's clear that part away. Before we dive into the book in detail, because if you have to write a book about startups, about investors, like right now you just told about who Shantanu is, you just also told about how the investment world works.
Yeah.
So you by profession is also an angel investor, right? So how is your professional experience? How did it help you to actually build this entire book? Or is this book a lot around startups, or can they use this book as a reference who wants to understand the startup world? So where does your professional life and your life as an author meet in the creation of Shark and the Dolphin?
Sure. So I have I lead multiple lives, like most of us do. I'm not saying I'm any special than anyone here. So I obviously have a full-time job. I work as a senior vice president. I handle a large portfolio. I work in San Diego.
Okay.
On the sides, I also take bets in companies, which is my investor hat. So I'm not like this really multi-billionaire investor like the ones that you've heard of, like a Blackstone.
Not like a Shark Tank.
No, not like a Shark Tank. Even Shark Tank, yeah, maybe Mark Cuban, not in that level. So I do take bets. Like Foster Reeds is a company where I've taken bets. There are a couple of other software AI companies where I'm interested in right now. So coming back to that's my side business number one, side hustle number one. Side passion number one is obviously writing.
Yes.
So this actually the whole story, kind of like I said, stories have to find you as an author. If you go looking out for stories, you seldom find them, and you end up trying to convince yourself that you found the story when you haven't. In this case, back in 2019-20, I believe, before COVID, well before COVID, I was trying to set up this network of charging stations all around India.
Okay.
So I used to work in Jamaica. I came back from Jamaica. I made some decent money. I didn't want to go back to employment immediately. So I took a break and I kind of surveyed the entire industry and understood what the technology is. I even met governments like Aam Aadmi Party government in Delhi. I also met real estate developers to see how I could install charging stations in their parking lots. Then there were permissions that I had to secure for be able to use the charging grid, the electricity grid, because otherwise you would bring the grid down if you have like 10,000 chargers working at once. So all of that, after doing all of the groundwork, legwork, all by myself, I attended various conferences, ET conclaves, Alakramas. I went to OEMs just to see how all of this works. And that's the time when I thought, whichever way I would write this, if I were to do this, I am going to be on the streets. This business will never make money.
Of course,
Because I think this is supposed to be done by companies making those cars and probably provide that. I think they will have the leverage, they will have the power, and moreover, when an industry is propelled through subsidies and for so long, and not just in India but around the world,
everywhere,
you can tell that it doesn't really have legs to run.
True. Plus they also have the sources.
Something. If a business is competitive, genuinely, if, for example, this restaurant, if this restaurant is spending 1 lakh rupees a month and is able to make 2 lakh rupees in profits, that is the only way to run this restaurant. But if the restaurant is pushed and propelled because, say, the government wants to somehow promote a certain, for example, if this was a millets restaurant and the government is trying to promote millets, and for that they say whatever you do is tax free, and somehow it is being pushed through subsidy, means there's no real business. The moment that subsidy life support is taken away, it will sink. So I couldn't come to terms why is there so much buzz around electric cars when the business model is not going to work. And moreover, the electricity that's being produced is also not necessarily clean. Because the sources, how it's being produced, it's still being, fossil fuel is still being used. So instead of writing a very academic article and making it sound boring or sounded more professorial, I decided to write a fun story which kind of explains the whole process of building a company, also educates you on what this electric car market is, the industry is, the science is.
Amazing.
And then and keep it very funny, very interesting, very dramatic. So one fine day, Sunday, I wrote the first chapter. That's the race sequence. And where we say this zinc. So I decided, then I researched another battery combination. Zinc air battery combination is at the moment most promising alternative to lithium. And I don't want to get into too much detail why lithium is bad, and you can research. People are pretty smart these days. You can research and you can find out. But that's how the story, that's how I stumbled upon this. That all of my hard work to create a company ultimately led me to write this book. So
that's actually a very interesting take, because honestly, there are information that we seek, but then everybody is not in the mood to go look at serious books, because you feel that there's no time to do that. And anything non-fiction, again, unless and until you have the dedication and commitment to actually learn about that subject, you really don't. And even if you go back to our school days, we always remember those lessons where our teachers made it dramatic. They gave us a storytelling session about a particular physics concept rather than just giving us a textual explanation.
Absolutely.
I think that way this book should ideally help a lot of people who is looking into understand a lot more about the industry.
Yes, I'm sure. I really hope so. And I'm pretty confident. That's been the feedback that I've been receiving from a lot of readers who read this. They've been hugely educated.
Yeah.
Some of them even got really motivated to start on their own.
Interesting.
That was very satisfying. I didn't expect that, honestly, that how would my book motivate someone in a way to set up a company. Someone wants to set up a company, they'll go do it, not because of a book. But that wasn't, but a lot of people have really are seriously contemplating to take on this path of entrepreneurship through this book. It kind of just breaks down the whole process of setting up a company, the whole process of raising money, the whole process of science, and there is a very interesting. This is a courtroom battle, right? So this is really a courtroom battle, and the entire story unfolds in court in arguments. So you also get a sense of the legal arguments one can present, and that's probably a big highlight of the book. Exactly. There are several highlights, but this one is like a really big one.
The main part.
How the lawyers can outwit each other, and it's very hard to tell who's right, who's wrong, because both have a very strong point of reason, and they both have a very strong premise. So I really hope whoever reads this book, it'll simplify entrepreneurship, and it will simplify technology also.
Interesting.
And they will have a lot of fun. One thing you'll definitely have. One thing it's so sure, whether you get motivated or not, you are definitely going to have a lot of fun reading it. It's going to be a lot of fun, and you just finish it in almost no time.
Coming to the story part of it, the backbone of any story are the characters. So in this book, you have 3 protagonists. I mean, not just one. You don't have a single hero. You have 3 main people trying to start their dream company. How has your character building been like? Bharat, Vinay, all the 3 of them for that matter. How has your character building been like, and how did you, for each of the roles in a startup creation that you had in mind, how did you end up putting each of them into each of those roles?
Sure. Well, interesting. It was actually very organic, and these characters were built through the process of writing. So I didn't start with a sketch to say character art for Bharat is A, B, C, D, 15 qualities, Aman A, B, C, D, 20 qualities. So it was, if I were to build a startup, the kind of person I am, Bharat comes very close to my personality. Very similar. Yes.
Readers should know that. Okay.
He's the closest to my personality. I had a similar life, like I depicted Bharat. When I started my career in management consulting, a lot of travel, interacting with people way more senior to you, both in terms of in age, in experience, in title, in wealth, in everything, in every way possible. Being able to sit with them, and even first of all to even be part of the same table is a big deal. But now you're not just part of the table; you're actually negotiating with them. And then they're responding to you. So those things, and then that kind of gives you a lot of confidence in your ability. And then you kind of get carried away, and you really start to love the spoils of this job. Traveling business class, living in great hotels, earning these miles, keep accumulating these sky miles all the time. But so there was, even at that time, I had this unease to start on my own. So that's really Bharat, who's conflicted. He loves the spoils and all the luxury and the comfort his job gives him, but now it's gotten to a point where it is starting to make less of a difference than it used to. So he is now responding to those signs that his mind is giving him. He's not ignoring those. He wants to act on it. He's built something when he was in engineering college. He still has passion for engineering. He still has passion for technology, enough to outmatch his love for the luxury. So that's Bharat. He's willing to forego luxury to build this. He's willing to toil in the workshop. He's willing to and then he has his friend Aman. Aman is a Gujarati. He's a chartered accountant.
Aman is the college friend.
No, Aman is not. So yes, so Bharat and Aman these two are colleagues and best friend colleagues. So they work for this company called Blue Waters Consulting. So both of them are the apple of the boss's eye, and they are like the superstars in the company. They are always back the big deals.
Always the potentials.
Always, yes, absolutely. And they are the ones who trying to douse fires in the company. They are the ones who the clients want to see all the time. If they have an issue, they are the only ones the clients trust. So they enjoy that kind of reputation both with the clients and with within the company. While Bharat is very outspoken, aggressive, people don't want to mess with him too much. Aman is this systematic, more more sane, no, not really sane, more clinical in the way he goes about life. So he's very happy.
Somebody more careful.
Somebody more careful, somebody more conservative, somebody more measured in what he does. he doesn't want too much adventure. He's making a lot of money. He's bought a house. He's about to be 30. He's a chartered accountant in any case. He wants to pursue higher studies. He's happy. He doesn't want any adventure in life. While Bharat somehow convinces him, persuades him. So Bharat is the guy who's ultimately trying to bring this team together, and his first goal is to get his best friend, because Bharat does not trust anybody else, both emotionally and intellectually, than Aman. Because he knows Aman is intellectually extremely bright. He can put 2 and 2 together. He's always into detail. So that's Aman's character. A Guju guy, extremely talented, less adventurous, but massive potential. And you will see that as you read the story, you will see Bharat's contribution is extremely central to everything that happens. And you will see different sides of Aman's personality. Aman's personality, the way it starts, how it evolves, and the way it goes. So you'll see his weak side, his strong side, his vulnerable side. So the characters really go through a number of phases.
You really went that deep into the characters.
Yeah.
Nice, interesting. And what about the third
person? And then
Vinay?
Vinay is this maverick engineer who was in the same college as Bharat. Both of them were best friends in college. Bharat, like I said, and when they were in college, something wrong happened to them together, and then they built this zinc air battery that they saw glimpses of. They could never test it at industrial scale for them to take it to the market, and then they became extremely untrusting of their professors and people around them. And Vinay would have thought that Bharat would continue his passion for engineering and not go for the spoils and the rewards of a management consulting career. So Vinay felt a little let down by Bharat. While Bharat's problem with Vinay was too purist, and he never thought and Bharat never expected Vinay to be able to build a successful business because of his temperament. So now Bharat, after several years, after about a decade, they come back together. And then Bharat makes a similar pitch to Vinay, tells him how convinced he is, everything that he's willing to. He's willing to put everything on the line, his house, his savings, he's raising capital from the market. He's willing to do everything it takes to win Aman's trust, and also assures Aman that whether I get paid or not, you will get paid every month. So, and he wants nothing from Aman except for his talent. Just you come, just walk. He doesn't want anything from Vinay except for his talent. He wants Vinay to walk in and just be himself, and just contribute intellectually. So that's how these three come together, and then they have a lot of fun.
That's actually interesting when you're looking at it that way. Now again, because when we were talking about the book also, there seems to be a lot of complicated concepts. Because it's about a technology world, which is not everybody's cup of tea. Not even, honestly, every engineer's cup of tea, every BTech graduate's cup of tea in that manner. But then your writing style is really simple. Because if I'm looking at a lot of other Indian authors, like a Chetan Bhagat or a Ravinder Singh or any authors like that, they write in a very simple language where people are able to connect so easily that irrespective of what they're trying to communicate, you can in one go just grasp that information. Your writing style, to an extent, I felt it to be like that. It was very easy to understand, very easy to grasp when you're talking about the difficulties of the technical world, the courtroom scenes, the race that you were talking about. So was this intentional, or generally anything that you write, what do you have in mind? Like, do you write it for yourself and you want to keep it simple, or do you have the reader in mind and then you try to keep it simple? What's your writing journey like?
No, so I have interesting. I never really, while writing, foremost it has to appeal to you. You're the first consumer of what you've written, of content that you've created. So it has to appeal to you. You should be able to crack up to the jokes you've written. And then I always used to use my wife as a sounding board. And so I would write the whole night. So I had quit my job to write this. So I'll wake up at like 12 in the night and I'll write till 6 in the morning. And then she will be up by 6. So at 6 I will just tell her that you first, I've written like 15 pages, you read this and give me your feedback. So she will sit down and read for those 15 pages. She'll tell me no, it doesn't click. Sometimes I'll agree, sometimes I'll not agree. Even if I don't agree, it'll be at the back of my mind. I'll probably come back to it later and fix it if it doesn't resonate with me. So simplifying. One thing is to simplify. Second, it's also important that while you're simplifying, you're not making it frivolous.
Very true.
So you don't skip essential details,
Yes.
but you only provide enough detail for people to understand things at a surface level and probably one level deeper, if at all.
Okay.
So, and if it is, and that's why you get non-technical readers to read what you've written.
Yes,
If
exactly.
that is making sense to them or not. So foremost, you have to be convinced that it is it has to be coherent.
Yes.
So a lot of writing is generally very incoherent. You start with a point and moves, the story goes elsewhere. They're really confused with the reader, and that's when you lose connect. So it has to flow. It has to flow.
Yes.
It has to be coherent. Examples have to be very relative.
Okay.
Sometimes you get too self-indulgent while writing. You kind of, there's a departure from from what's going on in the plot. You start commenting on issues outside of it. So you have to ensure that you're able to, contain those tendencies and stay true to the plot.
Okay.
So as long as you're staying true to the plot, all the jokes, all the characters are all adding to the plot.
Yes.
Then I think it remains enjoyable. It remains, it comes out to be very profound at the end of it.
Yes.
So that's what I try and do, and you get a sense. You get an intuitive sense when you read. That's what I try and do when I'm writing.
Interesting. So how has your author journey been like? Because the book has been out in the market for a while now, and you live in the US.
Yes.
And the book is for our Indian audience.
Yes.
So how has your marketing efforts been like? What all have you done? What adventure? Because as a so far, whatever you said in terms of your earlier experiences, you've traveled around for profession, you've been doing a lot of research, you've been going around. What all adventure so far till date have you had with the book?
Oh, a lot of it. Actually,
Okay.
yeah. This was a time when I felt like a superstar.
Okay.
So August 15th is when the book launched.
Okay.
And then we started with the team from Hubbox. And we started going to bookstores for tours.
Lovely.
And then there were people taking selfies
Hero
with me
moments.
and getting me to sign.
Oh, lovely.
And I wasn't expecting.
Uh-huh.
So I wish my wife was there. I could brag more.
Mhm.
But we had a lot.
Yeah, but I hope you had a lot of pictures.
A lot of pictures, a lot of videos.
Okay.
So that was fantastic. I didn't expect that. I thought I'll go there and people will be indifferent.
Okay.
Author ही तो है, आजकल हर कोई author होता है types. I thought that's the kind of reception I'll get. But the reception was very overwhelming. It was very not overwhelming, but reception was truly one that I will remember. It was extremely exciting. So as like I said, signing the story and I was trying to. And I used to narrate the crux of my story like 50, 55, 60 times a day.
Yeah.
And I used to like wake up in the morning and start narrating. I almost, sometimes you kind of memorize what you're going to say. So that was one fun experience. Then we did this, we also tried a very different experiment, which was to take tickets to the Vande Bharat Express and in Vande Bharat go and sell my book.
That was something very unique. I saw that online on your
Yes,
Instagram and everywhere. It was something very unique, I think,
Yeah.
and that's something that the current new authors can actually get inspired from. Can you tell us a little bit more about it?
So the good thing about Vande Bharat is that because of the price of the ticket,
Yeah.
you have a certain kind of people who will travel.
Okay.
And they're also willing to spend that 6-7 hours. So I found a lot of people reading in the train. One was that, which I did not know before.
Yeah.
So these are things that I discovered.
Yeah.
But I said Vande Bharat is a long journey. So you get like 6-7 hours to just promote, talk to people. You also have time to break, and so let's see how it goes. So then talking to passenger by passenger, we also got those t-shirts, Shark and Dolphin t-shirts printed.
Yeah.
So me and Harshal who's the head of marketing Crossword some time back, was also briefly part of Foster Reads, I believe. So he and I, then we traveled across to Vande Bharat, went from seat to seat to seat to seat to seat, just trying to gauge the body language of the passenger.
Okay.
ये बात करेंगे या फिर ये भगा देंगे. So initially, so I was doing this after almost 15 years. When I was in college, I'd probably do these, we do these fundraising campaigns, and you will just very fearlessly walk up to anybody and say, sir, give me 10,000 or 5,000 for this cause.
Yeah.
So this, after me, it was, first of all, my inhibitions, I had to lose them. So I walked up to people, are you free, sir? I said, yeah, sure. So my name is Prabhu. I'm here and so on. So some people gave me a patient hearing, and I think I sold some 45 copies on the train itself.
Nice.
Yeah. And then there were a couple of people who drove me away. Oh, yeah, credit card bechna aa gaya types,
Obviously.
Yeah, so that was also humbling, and I didn't take it otherwise. It didn't hurt my ego. I kind of it was a fun experience, even being driven away by someone after such a long time and you're trying to sell your books. So that was also fun. So we walked almost, we were standing for nearly 4 hours through the journey. So 7 hours, 4 hours we were just standing, and sometimes, depends upon the where the passenger is sitting, you don't have a place to sit. So you just bend and you just explain, and because there's noise around, and you explain to them what the story is, all the questions that I just answered to you. So how did I stumble upon this? Who am I? Where do I work? Why should you listen to me?
Wow.
So yes, so and that kind of becomes, it eases out. First 4, 5, 10 passengers are a little difficult. 11, 12 it just flows.
Oh,
and
I'm
then,
still wondering. I think I would have been extremely shy to be able to do any of
that. it is. You are shy initially. You're going to be shy, but 10th, 11th, then you will also know, I really have this skill. I'm so good at it, man. I should do this more often. And I honestly, 15, 17 passenger onwards, I felt that I was in like this sublime zone and a talent that I didn't even think I had. But I could go and just sell, just fearlessly just go and sell and talk about my book with random strangers, not being afraid of being driven away, not being afraid of rejections. So that was the big highlight. Big highlight of the trip.
Such an innovative idea to actually promote the book. That's been amazing. Good luck with the book, by the way. I mean, I'm sure a lot of that is still the promotions that you did all the way before. Is it still helping it out?
Oh yes. So you got, with promotions, obviously you have to keep topping it up. So it doesn't stay forever. So you got to keep re-uploading your videos. We got Mr. Nitin Gadkari has endorsed the story. So that was an interesting experience. I flew to Nagpur and I was able to somehow get hold of Mr. Gadkari through his secretaries. I was there at 11 in the morning. He had already met like about 100 other people. It was only 11 in the morning. So I can only imagine that he would have started like 7 in the morning. Within 4 hours, my name was like 103 on the list. So in those 4 hours, he must have met at least, assuming that 5 or 6 all them didn't turn up, at least 80, 90 people he would have met. So he would have been extremely tired. Despite that, he gave me almost 15 minutes, heard the story, and then he said, my team will have to vet it first, because you don't know what's hiding in the book, right? Sometimes you might have something really controversial inside the book, and then you say it's endorsed by Mr. Gadkari. So he got a letter. So he was impressed with the story. And I told him, sir, I am in California. How will I collect it? He said, don't worry, give me your email address. Write the email address on the book.
Lovely.
And you will get you'll receive a letter.
That was very supportive.
Very supportive. But I first thought कि यार सरकारी काम है, क्या पता नहीं आए, अभी नहीं आया तो नहीं आया, मैं कब हुआ मैं going to run after. But they were true to their promise. 35-40 days from the time I met him, I received this letter, and this PA also sent me the letter on WhatsApp.
Nice.
So that was so then we met Ankur Warikoo, then we met we also met Vasudha Raje at Khan Market.
It's crazy good reach.
Yeah, so we met, I can't even remember, we met actually a lot of people.
And all of this while you were living in US.
All of this in those 20 days, they were like really power packed. And I went from Delhi to Indore to Nagpur to Chennai to Bangalore to Pune. There were 6 cities that we covered. And I went to all the airports. And all the airports, and told them, please, मेरी book ऊपर अच्छे से रखो. And even now, when I was at the Chennai airport, Higginbotham's, they told me that 15 copies they ordered, they're now out of stock. कहा सर आपने नया order क्यों नहीं किया यार? वो सामने बैठ के उसको, he was ordering like 10. मैंने कहा सर 15 कर दो ना सर, 15 कर दो please. तो आपकी 15 में तो बिक ही गई है ना.
This is good tip to authors. Please, every author out there, please go and do all of this.
No, if you don't, who else will, right?
I mean, obviously, ultimately, you're the best marketer for your own.
Correct. So you must do it, and you should feel. So I didn't like the fact that he didn't order, but I was very nice. Please कर दो. उसने कहा 10 करना, 10 क्यों सर, अभी तो 15 बिकी है ना आपकी, 15 कर दो. So he ordered 15 for me. So those are interesting, very interesting. Just takes you away from what you do on a daily basis, where things are more organized. This is also a lot of fun. You just have to, once you get started, it just flows.
Yeah. And it's good to have, I think, from your professional life when you're doing all of this. It's a good change for you also.
It's a good change. It is. It just adds so much to your overall, the dimensions of your personality.
Yes.
Right? You just kind of know that this is not the only thing you're good at. So you're good with your work. You're also good with probably investing. You're also good with going out there and marketing yourself. Results will come. They may not come. But at least you should give it your all. And just enjoy the process. You know, at least when you're doing it, enjoy it. You know, don't be stressed out when you're doing it. What happens later, you can stress out probably later on, have a couple of coffees, and again get back.
See how it goes. Go back to a different book later in the future.
Correct.
So coming back to the book, now if at all the book is getting adapted into a movie, in the future.
Yes.
I hope, fingers crossed, touch wood,
Touch
however
wood,
we
yeah.
call it.
Knock on wood, yes.
Who do you think will be the main characters?
Okay,
Who do you
so
want to be the main characters?
I think Vicky Kaushal will definitely do a great job as Bharat.
Bharat, right?
Bharat.
Yeah,
Vicky
okay.
Kaushal will be a fantastic Bharat. I think Divendu would be great as Vinay.
Okay, interesting.
Aman, I don't know, maybe Siddhant Chaturvedi or someone would be fantastic in the role, but now Siddhant Chaturvedi is a superstar. But I don't know whether he'll play second fiddle to Vicky. But
Who would be our investor? Shantanu.
Shantanu, I have got three people in mind. One was Baman Irani.
Okay.
But Baman Irani, I think he's got a great demeanor. He's a no nonsense, absolutely merciless, doesn't care.
Yeah.
You know, he'll run over anything that comes in his way. But he's done that character. He's played that character too many times now.
Yeah, I was about to actually think that because the moment you told it, movies are already running in my head with a
Yeah, that
cliche
no
characters.
nonsense. Yeah, the you know, the always scheming.
Yeah.
Anil Kapoor, perhaps.
Wow, yeah.
could be a great choice for this.
Yeah, amazing. After Animal, I think yes, definitely.
Animal, and he's just generally has that in him. He's, I think, at the right age also for a story like this. I wish Rishi Kapoor was alive. He would have been the best choice for this. For Shantanu character. He was, I think, for me, Rishi Kapoor, as he aged, he was one of the best actors there are.
Wow, yeah.
I think he was phenomenal. So these are the 2, 3, 4 choices that I thought, if at all I'm consulted. Obviously, I don't know how much of a say I'm going to have once the casting happens and whoever is available. So those are the, like, I don't want it to be too star heavy.
Okay.
Yeah, so you could have 3 main stars and then you can have people.
Something that people can connect.
Correct. Even Paresh Rawal could do a phenomenal job as Shantanu. So Shantanu is really, honestly, it is because of Shantanu that Bharat, Aman and Vinay look as good as they do.
Yeah.
So you always need to have a strong villain, like, you know, because of Ravana, Ram looked as good as.
It is always, it's always like that. Yeah.
So Shantanu's character is going to be very important. He has to be extremely menacing, very, very hard to beat, formidable personality.
So interesting.
Yeah.
Anyways, one last question to you, which is a cliche question I ask all the authors.
Yes.
Because you've written your book, you've marketed it amazingly in a lot of innovative ways. What are your future plans with writing? And then also, from your experience with writing this book, any quick messages that you would want to give to debut authors?
I don't think, I don't know whether I am in a position to give any message to an author. That will be thinking too much of myself.
Okay.
But I'll still say, if you have a good story, I'll say write, first of all, write, and then be open to just critique your story as much as you can to start with, and be able to live with comments that are not generally positive.
Okay.
And try and, so as a writer, write it passionately.
Okay.
When as an editor, edit it dispassionately.
Yes.
So that is
Keep your heart away and work with your mind.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you've got to be able, and only you can do it. Nobody else can do it for you. You will never be convinced somebody else does it. So that's my advice to authors.
Okay.
You know, do it with a lot of love, but a lot of mind as well.
Yes.
So use both of them in the right. And my plans, again, waiting for my next story. Like I said, the stories have to find you.
Yeah.
So waiting for this next story to find me, I keep my ear to the ground, see what's happening in the society. I hope I come across some interesting episodes that I can build on. Yeah, and then waiting for this to turn into a grand movie or a web series. I think it's more suited for a movie.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's going to be a blockbuster. It's got everything from courtroom to friendship to race to engineering to travel. It travels around like 6 different cities in India and 4 different countries. It starts in New York, comes back to India, goes to Dubai, and within India it goes from Gurgaon to Patna to Varanasi to Tamil Nadu to Jalandhar,
That's a crazy
and back
map.
to Coimbatore, and then it goes to Greater Noida, and then it goes to Munich for the final race.
Okay.
So the book really it doesn't stay static. So I'm just hoping that turns out to this grand success and reaches out to millions and millions of people around the world, and they all enjoy it and becomes a cult classic of all time.
Amazing.
And that's the hope and vision I have and for this book.
Thank you so much, Prabhu, for being here today. And I wish you very genuinely all the very best with the book. And I'm really looking forward that this turns into a movie.
Yes,
and finally, thank you so much for coming here today for Foster
Thank you
Talks,
so
and
much
you
for
so
doing
much.
this, Naghma, on short notice. Thank you so much. You're the best.
And then you have a good day. And
Thank
good
you.
luck
Good
with
luck.
Sharks and Dolphins.
Thank you. Sharks and Dolphins, please order your copy on Amazon or go to a bookstore near you. It's an amazing story. You'll love it, I'm sure.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.